remember me?
A couple months ago, when I put together my list of the 25 greatest action movies of all time, I chose not one, but 2 installments of the Mad Max franchise. So, with that in mind, the bar has been set pretty high for George Miller's Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. So, how does it hold up to the rest of the franchise? Let's get into it, shall we, with our Furiosa review. In this one, young Furiosa is stolen from her people as a child and forced to witness her mother's execution, and she sets out on an epic quest for vengeance against the warlord Dementis. As I said, the Mad Max series contains not one but 2 of the best action movies ever made. Sure, there's Fury Road, but there's also The Road Warrior. Both are really masterpieces of their genre. And the early reviews for Furiosa Mad Max Saga seem to be overly concerned with the fact that the movie isn't a replay of Mad Max Fury Road, with it telling an epic 15-year tale, the likes of which have never really been attempted in the series before. From the 1979 original onward, all the movies told relatively compact stories, so Miller and co-writer Nico Lathouris deserve praise for doing something different. The inevitable tragedy of the early reactions to Furiosa is that they will be devoted to singling out what it isn't, meaning it's not Fury Road, while losing sight of what it is. A pretty incredible action odyssey told on a mammoth scale, the likes of which we really don't see much anymore. Furiosa really is a terrific addition to the franchise in that it's the perfect midway point between The Road Warrior and Fury Road, with Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome taking place later on. Miller's always said that that was the last installment of the Mad Max franchise chronologically. So in this, society is still trying to rebuild itself somewhat, albeit in these desperate warlord-ruled factions. Anya Taylor-Joy's Furiosa comes from one of the few holdouts of legit civilization not ruled by barbarity, and the world building is superb. You feel like there's a lot more to this Wasteland than just Max, even though, he's still lurking around out there somewhere. The film is much more of an ensemble than the trailers suggest, with Anya Taylor-Joy only making her first appearance an hour into the movie. The first half is devoted to young Furiosa, played by Ayla Brown, and how a child navigates this brutal world, with Chris Hemsworth a surprisingly three-dimensional antagonist, as Dementis. He's like the opposite side of the coin to Max, in that, like him, he lost his family, but allowed it to turn him into a psychopathic barbarian, while Max mostly held on to his humanity. This might be Hemsworth's best performance ever, with Miller really getting something out of him that I've never really seen before in his work. He makes Dementis charismatic enough that you kind of get why desperate scavengers would rally around him, and maybe even seem so nobility in his quest, in that he's out for himself and, well, he wants to get what he can in a world gone insane. Brown is striking as the young, quiet Furiosa who keeps to herself and learns how to make herself somewhat invisible as she grows older. Anya Taylor-Joy, as the older version of the character, is excellent. She sounds almost exactly like Charlize Theron, and shows us the rougher, more inexperienced and unpolished youth she became before being molded into the stoic heroine she became later. One guy that no one's really talking about in the early reviews, and it's a shame, is Tom Burke, who's probably best known for playing Orson Welles in David Fincher's Mank. He plays a vital role as Jack, a driver for Morton Joe, played here by Lacey Holm, who dreams of leading a virtuous life, even if he knows it's impossible in this heartless wasteland. He becomes Furiosa's mentor and love interest, playing an essential role in her evolution in several ways. He teaches her to kill, but his heroic qualities rub off on her too, setting the stage for the events of Fury Road, which is basically her great redemption tale. This is a terrific part for Burke, who's never really gotten the chance to shine as an action star before and definitely shows off some chops. Everyone in Miller's nightmarish odyssey is terrific, including Charlie Fraser, who plays a small but potent role as Furiosa's warrior mother. Technically, the movie is impeccable, with DP Simon Duggan shooting the film so that it looks as much like John Seale's Fury Road work as possible, while Junkie XL contributes another hard-driving score. The action and pace of Furiosa are different than Fury Road, but this isn't a chase film. And there's one major action sequence involving Jack and Furiosa on the war rig that goes toe-to-toe with anything in any of the other Mad Max movies. Miller also shoots the film in a way that emphasizes visual storytelling once again, helped by how expressive Anya Taylor-Joy is, with a lot going on behind those eyes at all times, making her the ideal lead for this kind of movie making. The dialogue is so sparse at times that I'd be curious to see a silent cut similar to the black and chrome cut of Fury Road that tells the film entirely with visuals. I imagine it would work really well, with Miller perhaps our last true master of purely visual storytelling. Hopefully, George Miller isn't done with The Wasteland, because he leaves enough threads dangling that there's likely a lot more story to be told. Some will be disappointed that Furiosa depends more on CGI than the other Mad Max movies did, but sadly I think Fury Road might have been the last of its kind for many reasons. Even still, Miller's made this a tactile, visceral experience that drives home the point that at 79 he's still a master of his craft, and making movies directors 40 years his junior wouldn't have the energy or skill to tackle. It's not Fury Road, but Furiosa is still really amazing, and I give it a 9 out of 10.